Probably not. I'm gonna be honest. That's what I'm saying. We have relationships that we have to put energy in, that we have to put, and I'm not talking about spiritual energy like chakras and no. We're not talking about none of that, right? We're talking about we got to put effort into this, right? After I work 8 to 12 hours, I still got to come home and I got to put effort into this relationship, right? I still got to talk to you. I still got to read. I still got to try to deepen this. And that's what we got to do. That's where we start with being submitted. We say, hey, I'm not perfect. I'm gonna have days where I'm gonna mess up. But Lord, if you speak to me and you say get up and pray, I'm gonna get up and pray. And if I mess up once or twice, I'm not gonna let that beat me up. But the next time when God says, hey, get up and pray, I don't care if it's 3 a.m. I'm getting up and pray. Not, oh, I'm gonna roll over. Oh Lord, thank you. Lay me down to sleep. Keep my no. If he doesn't get up and pray, it's for a reason. If he says, hey, I want you to read tonight and I want you to turn off the TV, turn off the TV. Be submitted, right? Because here's the thing: we are the bride of Christ. He is our bridegroom. The bride of Christ of the church, we are the church, right? And and the Bible talks about it, the head of the household is the husband. So it doesn't matter the will you got, doesn't matter the will I got, right? Because we're going to our bridegroom and we're like, well, I got my will and I don't want to do that. He's like, I don't care. This is my house. This is what you got to do. I don't care. You This is what you got to do. I'm not changing it, right? And he's so patient and he's so loving and he's so kind that he'll be like, okay, we'll wait. We'll wait. You don't want to do that? All right, Moses. This is what I'll do. We'll wait. We'll wait. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. You speak to him, but you remember that time you said, "Hey, Lord, I'm slow of speech." Yeah, we're gonna wait because you're gonna do what I say. At the end of the day, you're gonna do what I say because I have authority, and it's not gonna be a I don't want to do that. It's gonna be I get to do this. You're allowing me to do this. You can do this. What do you mean I got to do this? It's not one of those. It's you can do this, Lord, and you're allowing me to do this. Wow, what a privilege, right? It's not, hey, I can take the trash down, but you're going to do it today. I'm not going. I'm going to sit on the couch. No, it's hey, yeah, you do this. So the Lord's going to partner with us, and He's going to bring stuff. He's going to bring the promises He's given us, the things that He spoke. I don't want to be in a generation where people know of God. I don't want to be around people that know of God. I want to know. I want to be around people who are crazy, radical, and they know God, and they keep going deeper in God. Right? If it ever happens, I pray God. Nah, we're going to just cut that if that ever happens. I'm not going there. We're not going down that rabbit hole. So that's submission, right? Just work on it. Um, be true. Get in community. Find someone you trust and be honest. Be honest because we all have lies on our life. I don't care if you've been serving the Lord for 72 years, right? I don't care if you were 8 years old when you were saved and you never turned from Him and blah, blah. I don't care. We all have some kind of lie that has tried to attach itself to our life. And we need that replaced with God's truth. And we might not even know it's a lie because when I was in sin, when I was living in the world, I didn't know most stuff was a lie. I didn't know that. Yeah, I was told you shouldn't cuss, but why? Well, because fresh water and salt water will not flow from the same brook, right? Uh, m- God's blessings and God's curses is not going to come out of the same mouth. That's why. Not saying if you cuss right now that you're terrible and you don't know God or you're not anointed or no. It's saying we need to work on that. We need to get to the end. You need to get a community so they can pray for you. Because if you do it on your own, if you do anything on your own, Not gonna work. It's not. If you try to escape bondage on your own, it's not gonna work. It's not, right? Joseph didn't try to escape jail, prison. Paul and Silas, they didn't sit there and say, "Oh, let me loosen these shackles I got right here. Maybe I can get free and slip out." No, 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 no. Peter didn't wake up and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna bust out through this window." No, it was always with God. God always provided. He always did it, and it probably wasn't how they thought it would happen, right? But there were always miracles that came through it. So partner with God and say, send me someone. Send me someone where I can be honest. Send me someone where they can pray with me and we can get together and pray. So these things that are on me, that are on my life, they can be broken off.
I love what you said here, and so much wisdom there. And I remember specifically one of the things that I used to struggle with, and this is a story of mine. I remember my dad. He's very, very wise, but he said something to me, and it triggered something inside of me, an emotion, a negative emotion. And when I look back at it later on, I asked myself, why did I trigger? Why was that a trigger? Why was that so frustrating? Why was that so annoying to me? And I started realizing because there was some truth to it. And that's the reason why I got mad. That's why I got frustrated. Right? That's why that emotion was there. The reason why I say this is because then I had to really take a deep look inside myself and say, okay, well, if there's truth to that, then what do I need to do to either confess that or actually, deal with that internally? So let me give you a really specific example. I was actually an inclusion kid, which basically mean when I was in high school, I had a hard time learning and so forth. And so, and this is an abstract conversation, but this could be applied to a lot of individuals. And so I remember that there's a in my identity, I felt stupid, right? That was kind of a deep rooted situation. And so when my wife at the time would say something like, "Oh, Christian, you're so stupid," or "you're kind of whatever," or she would say certain things, I would interpret it as an attack on me. And same thing with, I always would degrade myself and say, "Oh, I'm stupid. I don't really know how to do this, blah, blah, blah." And I would always ask myself, why was I actually doing that? And why, whenever someone why did I feel that someone was condescending me when the reality is they were not actually condescending me, right? And why was that? Because my root cause, my identity was that I felt stupid. And that's what I had come to grips with. And then I asked myself, am I really stupid? No. So then why am I making that emotion attached to it when someone is saying something like that? It's the same thing that I look at with I was dealing with I was talking to a friend of mine and her husband, they're married and so forth, and they're just going through a rough time right now.